Good morning, 5P. Today is the 4th of May. Monday. Today is the last day of HBL, where we'll meet you for Google Meet. So today I just want to go through the answers for activity 6.2 and activity 6.3, which is arranging bob in series and arranging bob in parallel. So I hope you have done this from your work. I know some of you did not use the online software to test it out, because if you have used the online software to test it out, your results will be very different from what your answer is. Okay, so you really have to use the online circuit construction kit to try it out to see for the effects of on the brightness of the bulb. So today I will go through with you the answers. I'll show you how it is done using the online software, and I really hope you can take some time during the holiday to try it out so you can really appreciate the differences it makes on the brightness of the bulb. Okay, so we'll do 6.2 first, which is arranging bulb in series. Okay, so we're gonna do arranging bulb in series first. So from the theory side, from what we have learned in theory, we know that for when we arrange bulb in series, the more bulbs we have connected in series, the less bright the bulb will be, because they are actually in a sense uh, sharing the electric current, means less electric current is flowing through them. Okay, so we'll write this down later. This is just the overall concept. So let's talk about the hypothesis first. So it's what we learn in concept. um, the brightness of the bulbs in a circuit um, decreases. Let's write this down. Decreases. Okay, the more bulbs you have arranged in series, the brightness of the bulb actually decreases. So the brightness of the bulbs in the circuit decreases when the number of bulbs arranged in series in the circuit increases. So the more bulbs you have in series, the less bright it will be. Okay, so let's write the relationship down so that you can see how it links. I'm going to write it over here. So when you have more bulbs in series, what happens is that you will have less electric current flowing through each bulb, and when you have less electric current flowing through each bulb, it will be less bright. Each bulb will be less bright. Okay, so the brightness of the bulb depends on the amount of electric current. So when there are more electric current, they'll be brighter. If it's less electric current flowing through the bulb, it will be less bright. So when you have more bulbs connected in series, there will be less electric current flowing through each bulb. So if there's less electric current flowing through each bulb, it will be less bright. Okay, simple as that. So if you have constructed the circuit diagram, uh, circuit A, circuit B, circuit C, which looks something like this. So you have constructed this. All you need to do is to close up the circuit, and then you'll look for the differences in the brightness of each bulb. So I'm gonna close the circuit later, and then after that we'll be going to observe the brightness of the bulb, starting with the least bright. So the least bright, middle bright, and the most bright at the end. Okay, so let's start off. Let's close the circuit A first. Circuit A is just one bulb in the circuit, very bright. You can see the yellow line is very long. Now I have two bulbs connected in series, less bright. You can see that the yellow lines are shorter. And now I have three bulbs connected in series, it'll be even less bright. So the pattern here, you can see that when I increase the number of bulbs connected in series from 1 to 2 to 3, the brightness of the bulb actually decreases. Brightest here, less bright, and even less bright over here. So the more bulbs you have in parallel, the more bulbs you have in series, the lesser bright they are. Okay, so this is the pattern we see. Alright, so let's write this down. So arrange the circuit in order of brightness. So the brightest will be A, followed by B, followed by C. Oh, sorry. I want it to be the least bright first. So there's something wrong here. Okay, I want it to be least bright. Even Mr. Wong sometimes is confused. So I want the least bright to be here. So let's start with the least bright one. The least bright one is actually C, followed by B, followed by A. Okay, let's make sure it's correct. Least bright is C, So least bright is C, followed by B, followed by A. So C, B, and A. Least bright is C, brightest is A. Brightest is A. Correct. Okay, so so let's do a conclusion. How does the brightness of the bulb change? Okay, when the number of bulbs arranged in series increases. So how do the brightness of the bulb change from A to C? When I increase the number of bulbs connected in series, you realize that the brightness actually decreases. Okay, so it decreases. So what does the conclusion mean? How does the brightness change when the bulbs arranged in series increases? So when the bulbs arranged in series increases, the brightness actually decreases. Okay, brightest, less bright, and even less bright. So the brightness actually decreases. Okay, so now we do a bit of process skill. What is the variable that changed? Most of you can tell me that it's the bulb that is changed, but be more specific about that. It will be the number of bulb. Can I change from 1 to 2 to 3? And tell me about the arrangement connected in series. Okay, so number of bulbs connected in series actually changed. So what is the variable that is kept the same? You realize I use the same number of battery, 3 batteries in A, 3 batteries in B, 3 batteries in C. So the number of batteries is kept the same. Okay, and now we look at the conclusion again. So when I have more bulbs from A to C, when I use more bulbs arranged connected in series, you realize you will have less electric current flowing through them, and when you have less electric current flowing through them, the bulbs will light up less brightly. Okay, so brightness of the bulb depends on electric current. When you have more electric current flowing through them, you'll be brighter. When you have less, because you have more bulbs arranged in series, so when you have more bulbs arranged in series, there will be less electric current going through each of the bulb, so the bulb will be less bright. So when you have more bulbs connected in series, the electric current flowing through them is lesser. So this one will be very bright. This one will be the least bright of all. Okay. So this is for activity 6.2. Now let's go over to activity 6.3. Alright, so now we go on to activity 6.3. Now we are arranging the bulbs in parallel. So when we arrange the bulbs in parallel, you realize that the amount of electric current flowing through them is the same. The brightness remains the same. Okay, so this is what we have learned in theory. The brightness of the bulbs in a circuit remains the same or stays the same. This is what we learn in theory. Brightness of the bulb remains the same when the bulbs arranged in parallel. The keyword here is in parallel increases. Okay, so whether you increase or decrease the number of bulbs arranged in parallel, the brightness remains the same. Okay, so this is the theory that we have learned. So what's the relationship here like just now? Let's write it down. So when I have I can have more or I can have less bulbs connected in parallel. Okay, the electric current remains electric current flowing through remains the same. Flowing through the circuit remains the same, stays the same, and therefore the brightness remains the same, stays the same. Okay, so I don't think okay, let's try to squeeze it to one single line. I think it's a bit difficult, but the idea is here. Okay, never mind. I think we just break it up to like this. Okay, will be better. Okay, let me just make sure it's white at the back. Okay, so this is the pattern that we have learned, or this is the theory we have learned. When we have either more or less bulbs connected in parallel. So it doesn't matter whether I increase the number of bulbs in parallel or decrease the number of bulbs in parallel, the electric current flowing through them will be the same. So when the electric current flowing through the bulbs is the same, the brightness will remain the same. Okay. So again, using the online software, you're supposed to construct A, B, and C with two batteries for each, and then now the bulbs are connected in parallel. You realize that there is different paths for the electric current to flow. In this one, there's three different paths for the electric current to flow from one end of battery to the other battery. So I've already constructed it over here. So this is circuit A, circuit B, and circuit C. Two batteries, one bulb, two bulbs in parallel, three bulbs in parallel. So let's observe for the brightness of the bulb as I close the circuit. Okay, so I'm going to close it. Okay, this is how bright it is. Close the circuit. You realize it is equally bright. And I close the circuit C. It is equally bright. So you realize that doesn't matter whether I increase or I decrease the number of bulbs connected in parallel, the brightness of each bulb still remains the same. Okay, so you realize the brightness of the bulb remains the same when the bulbs are connected in parallel. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so compare the brightness of the bulbs in A, B, and C. So if you have constructed the circuits, you realize that the brightness stays the same or remains the same. Okay, so conclusion wise, how does the brightness of the bulb change when the bulbs are arranged in parallel? It remains the same. It remains same, it stays the same. Okay, so when your bulb connected in parallel, doesn't matter when there's more or less bulb, the brightness remains the same. All right, so with that, let's look at the process skills. What variable is changed? Same thing, don't just tell me the number of bulbs, tell me how are they connected by. They are connected in parallel. So over here, what was changed? The number of bulbs connected in parallel. Okay, and then what was kept the same again is the number of batteries. So in these two experiments, the number of batteries we keep it the same, keep them the same. Okay, so once again okay, when you can write more or less, but let's follow A to C. So when more bulbs are arranged in parallel, the amount of electric current flowing through each bulb will be the same or will be unchanged. Okay, so you can also write unchanged. Okay, so when you have more or less bulbs arranged in parallel, the keyword here is parallel. The amount of electric current flowing through each bulb is the same, is unchanged, so the bulbs will be equally bright. Okay, so you realize that whether is it A, B, or C, whether is it one bulb, two bulbs in parallel, or three bulbs in parallel, the brightness of the bulb remains the same. Okay, so it will be equally bright. Okay, so this is the end of your work. This is the end of your HBL. Make sure you have finished every piece of work. If you have not done it, spend the holiday weeks to go through them. Use the construction kit to help you understand them better. And when we come back, we'll do a quick recap of what you have learned, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, so take the holidays to really go through the topic on electricity. It's a very big topic. Make sure you know it well, and we can also read ahead on how to use electricity wisely and to use electricity safely, which is quite straightforward and common sense, which you do every day at home as well. All right, so with that, I'll see you when the school reopens.